Void Erosion Purge got you down? Your skills not hitting as hard as they used to? Well, here's how to stop getting filtered and get to level 30. Let's get to it. So I'm going to refer to Vash's website now on this graph, which is going to explain a lot of things that are going wrong for a lot of you. So this is a lot of numbers and things on the screen here, so bear with me for just a minute. The levels 21 to 30 of Void Erosion Control have innate skill power nullification. If you look at all of the skill powers that are listed here, from non-attribute, fire, chill, electric, and toxic, you can see as you go up in levels in Void Erosion, you are going to get a huge penalty to your skill damage. And if you look off to the right side, you'll see that the firearm, fire, chill, electric, and toxic damage have a massive bonus for the level of Void Erosion that they're on. The only difference here being at levels 28 through 30, you need to match the elemental weakness to a faction, otherwise you will start to incur a damage penalty even on your firearms. So after looking at this graph and kind of understanding it a little bit, you can see why your skills are doing doggy doo-doo at higher levels, and even some of your weapons are doing crap at higher levels. And here's a quick reference on where to find the faction and its weaknesses for the level of Void Erosion that you're going to be on. Keep in mind here, you really only want to use the weakest attribute for a faction, because even using a normal resistance element towards a faction, you're still going to lose a lot of damage. So use the most appropriate weakness that you possibly can. So with that in mind, put your Inezes away for just a little bit and let's look at gun-based Descendants. So after reviewing that graph, you can see how your skill-based Descendants just aren't going to cut it in Void Erosion Purge levels 21 through 30. Sure, they may work for a little while, but at some point you're going to reach a roadblock where even a Luna with her buffs to skills isn't going to make up the difference, and you're just going to find yourself falling behind. So I'm not going to leave you hanging. Let's talk about some things that you can do in order to not fall behind. We're going to talk about Descendants with gun-based builds. Everybody's familiar with Gley. Her increased sensory can be built out with a duration and a cooldown where you can infinitely loop this together and have infinite ammo for your weapons with a constant uptime, and you will absolutely obliterate anything and everything that is in your way. Another great gun build based Descendant is going to be our classic Enzo. He has a wonderful perfect support 4 skill, which can be built out for very low cooldown. Is going to give that firearm attack increase and a critical hit rate increase, plus it's going to let everybody reload just a little bit faster. But this combined with the ever important supply firearm enhancer is going to give you a weak point damage increase and a firearm critical hit rate increase, which is absolutely paramount in this. You need to take all the buffs that you can possibly get while maintaining a good speed. So Enzo is going to be a wonderful and a great utility character that helps the entire team and has a gun-based build. We have Hailey, which is probably another one of the all-time favorites in the game. She has the Cold Fury skill. When at max stacks, she gets a ridiculous amount of firearm critical hit damage increase, which will stack with Enzo's, which will stack with whatever is on your weapon. She also gets plenty of extra firearm penetration amount, and she can combine this with her cryo round to give her extra damage. Even though the cryo round is not going to do skill damage, you're still going to get the status procs on the enemies so that you can take advantage of those with the additional damage. Next up, we have Sharen. Sharen, you might not think immediately as a gun-based Descendant, but with her ambushed mod, you can absolutely build her out for shotguns. She can go into active camouflage and get close to certain enemies, and when you have the ambushed mod on, you have a 30% chance to go back into active camouflage when you get a critical hit. Now, shotguns fire a bunch of pellets, right? So any one of those pellets does a critical hit, it's going to trigger a 30% chance. And you get a lot of pellets with a shotgun. So you can play in the odds. 99% of the time, you can stay in active camouflage and constantly get the ambush damage increase of 100%. Ammo may be an issue, you say, but if you're running with an Enzo, which if you matchmake a lot into Void Erosion Purge, you'll see Enzos everywhere. Ammo really doesn't become an issue with this. And last but not least, we're going to talk about what I think is the real all-star of Void Erosion Purge, and that is going to be Lepic in terms of Descendants with his traction grenade. You can see here the traction grenade sucks all the enemies up into a specific spot so your entire team can focus them all down. This is really essential for pulling enemies out of those little nooks and crannies where they like to be hiding, to group everything up in the same area so you can annihilate them as quickly as possible. You don't normally think of Lepic as a firearm-based Descendant. However, if you're building him just for utility, he does have a Transcendent module called Power Unit Charge, and Power Unit Charge will give you a firearm attack increase of 52%. This will take the place of your overclock, and when you pop this, you get a huge firearm attack increase amount. Now let's move into some of the weapons that are really, really good for Void Erosion Purge, and we'll start off with, of course, Executor. Executor is really, really good in the hands of Gley. Next up, we have the Smithereens. This Smithereens here is built for Order of Truth. Just to demonstrate, I do have multiple versions of each weapon built out for specific factions, but Smithereens is not going to treat you wrong as long as you land all pellets on the same enemy. This is important. As long as all the pellets land on the same enemy, just like with Executor, the same enemy, all the pellets have to hit, you will have them be critical. And in the hands of Gley, Restored Relic is an absolute friggin' beast. Restored Relic is going to also be getting buffs on hotfix 1 to 7, along with a little bit of nerfs to Void Erosion Purge. So this is definitely a weapon that is absolutely amazing to have. You build this strictly for fire rate and chill attack, and I tell you guys, this thing fires like Vestigial Organ, the original launcher that Gley used all the time. And with her infinite ammo, you're probably not going to see much on your screen because of all the explosions, but this sucker is going to really do a lot of big damage to the enemies that are grouped up by the Lepic. And I tell you what, it is crazy good. And now for the true all-star of Void Erosion Purge, we're going to look at the Albion Calvary Gun. Now, the Albion Calvary Gun, when fully built out, is a weapon that has crowd control. It chill attacks to enemies to slow them down, and it is absolutely amazing with its intrinsic ability to also stun enemies. One of the best crowd control weapons for all of the infinite ammo and all the free ammo Enzos that are out there. This is going to really take your game up to the next level. So there you go. Stop getting filtered in Void Erosion Purge. Drop your skill-based attacks. Get a gun-based Descendant. Get a good gun and get in there and start kicking ass. What's your favorite combination of Descendants and guns to take into Void Erosion? Let us know down in the comments. And as always, if this helped you out at all, please drop a like. Maybe it's a subscription if you really want to. You can find us near every night over on Twitch. We also have a massive and growing community over on Discord, which I think is probably one of the best TFD Discords and communities in the game right now. So come on over, have some fun, get some stress-free, carefree, and ego-free help and information about the game. So until next time, Descendants, 0 out.